Welcome back, everyone, to the Global Cash Summit 2025. I'm your host, Cassandra Bourne, and I could not be more excited that this next conversation because it speaks directly to one of the biggest challenges high achieving entrepreneurs face: how to grow and lead with clarity instead of chaos. Our theme this year is cash confidence and global impact. And this session is all about the confidence piece, learning to lead, decide, and create from alignment rather than exhaustion. Joining with me is a truly extraordinary woman whose life's work embodies that message, Terry Wildemann. Terry is an intuitive success consultant, a transformational leadership coach, and the visionary CEO of Intuitive Leadership. She is the creator of the SHIFTology Success System, SHIFTology Live podcast, and the SHIFTology Card Deck series, each designed to help leaders merge logic with intuition to achieve sustainable success. With more than 40 years experience in leadership, entrepreneurship, and human transformation, Terry has helped thousands of executives and business owners move from stress and overwhelm to calm, clarity, and confidence. Her clients, from corporate boardrooms to solopreneurs, learn how to zap that stress, shift the chaos, and activate their inner CEO, achieving prosperity through alignment rather than burnout. She's also a multi-book author and has been featured in major summits like the Intuitive Leadership Summit, Wealthy Healers Conference, and Visibility to Prosperity too. Terry's presence brings grounded wisdom and intuitive energy that helps audiences reconnect to their inner calm while amplifying clarity, confidence, and results. Terry, welcome to the Global Cash Summit. It is such an honor to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's always wild to hear somebody else read your bio. It's like, whoa, that's me, huh?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was brilliant. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I've been looking forward to this conversation because your work truly bridges the inner and outer worlds of leadership. And I
It
know
does.
that our audience will walk away with insights they can apply immediately. So let's start at the beginning. You've been
Sure.
guiding leaders for decades. Can you share a bit about your journey, how you came to merge intuition and business strategy?
Well, I've always been intuitive, and actually, most people are intuitive. It's just knocked out of them as they're growing up, unfortunately, because the people around them don't believe in intuition. The images that we see as kids, the voices that we hear that come out of nowhere, how we're feeling, how we're sensing, the knowing that we have, it gets knocked out of us by our parents, our siblings, our teachers. They all just like, oh, that's not true. No, that can't be true. And you know in your bones that it is. But when that happens, your self-esteem take a hit. Your confidence takes a hit. You start to wonder, this information that's coming out of nowhere. No, I'm not going to do it again because I don't want to be judged.
Mhm.
So when we get into that bucket, it can be really hard to come out of it. And that's pretty much what happened with me. I was always intuitive as a kid. And however, I learned to not vocalize a lot of what was coming. I just, okay, this is what people want. That's what people want. And it was very fascinating because I always knew that what I wanted to do and worked towards it. My degree is in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for 8 years. And during that law enforcement piece, I ended up learning so much about my strength, my energy, my power, and there were a lot of guys at that time because this was in oh God, I'm dating myself. This was in my 20s. So we're talking the 1970s.
Wow.
Okay, so yes, and women were just starting to get into law enforcement at that time. Now, before that, when I graduated from college, I was in hospitality. That's what got me through college. I was in hospitality in different places. And when I graduated, I ended up being an assistant dining room manager at what was a Marriott property. And it was Charlie Steakhouses, and they don't exist anymore. And it was very fascinating to watch my leadership style with another woman with the woman who was a dining room manager, and everybody kept signing up for when I was working. I was on the shift, and I said to somebody, what is this all about? What is going on here?" And the gent that was standing next to me said, "You're a team player,
Mm.
and the other person is not." And I help everybody. I was always making sure that everyone around me had what they needed in order to be able to succeed in the job, serve the customer well. And at the end of the night, where because Marriott had a very, very clear way of us setting up the tables and cleaning the tables and organizing the tables and polishing all the silverware. And instead of sitting on my high chair and watching everybody do it, I jumped in to help everyone to do it so we could get out at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So those are the kinds of things that led me to where I am right now. I owned a manufacturing company in my late 20s. Then I married the Navy at 31. And that was a whole other leadership thing. So I went from a businesswoman to U.S. Navy spouse
Wow.
and getting involved with the leadership because my husband was a lieutenant commander at the time that we got married. So there were a lot of leadership things that I was expected to do
Right.
that when he put that ring on my finger, he said, "By the way, I'll tell you about something." Now we had dated for 8 years, 7 years, sorry, 7 years. And he's putting this ring on my finger, explaining to me all the things I needed to do as a Navy spouse
Yeah.
because he had protected me from all of that. So that led me to another level. And I learned an awful lot as a Navy spouse. I was also teaching what we call the Transition Assistance Program for the military. And I did that for 20 years. And I had the privilege of working with 11,000 transitioning military personnel who were at all levels. I didn't work with any admirals, but I worked from captain on down. And it was just so cool to see who was ready to go, who wasn't ready to go. And because I was certified as an executive coach and a coactive coach and heart math and all these other modalities, I was able to help some of them who were having meltdowns in the classroom, outside of the classroom, help them tune in and get past a lot of the fear that
Right.
was going on. Because when you're in that insulated container, where you're given everything, so to speak. And all of a sudden, it's like this and this and this and this change and this change. People, um, change can become very hard
Right.
because you don't know what's next.
Sure.
So that's what all of that is what pretty much got me to where I am now.
I love that. I love that. You're informed by your environment,
Hmm.
and when you were asked to step up and to become the Navy wife and do all of the activities and the leadership and the role, it's like an unpaid role, essentially. Like
Oh,
it's
it's not like
off.
it was.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was.
But you were able to trust your inner knowing. And so you were much more clear and more aligned. Your compassionate spirit, your compassionate heart, your willingness to be that team player to get in there and to be able to see what people needed. You already were a CEO quite early then. So you use the
Yes.
phrase activate your inner CEO. Can you tell us what that means and why is it such a powerful shift for leaders?
Well, one of the areas that I teach, and I got certified with the Heart Math Institute in 2001,
Mhm.
uh, 3 days after 9/11.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was wild. And the Heart Math Institute is one of the premier stress management organizations in the world. And I knew that for myself, after having burned out multiple times, I needed to do something different. And I didn't know quite where to go, what to do. And this organization fell in my lap several years before that. And then the time came to get certified because I wanted to really work with my clients authentically. And the technique that I'm sharing as a free gift, it's called the Quick Shift Zone. Quick Shift is based on the heart math technique. And the quick shift is about connecting the brain and the head with the brain and the heart. And a lot of people are so, especially, leaders, change makers, we live in our heads It's this practical, tactical, logical mindset that it works to a point where it doesn't
Mm.
because you burn out when you live in your head all the time. The I gotta, have to, need to. You know, this constant push to get things done. And when you are disconnected from this part of your body, your heart, you are actually only thinking halfway, what I call 50%. You're 50% leader. Once you connect the brain in the head with the brain in the heart, you're working with two brains. You're working with the practical, tactical, and logical, with the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive. And when you harmonize both of them together, you become a powerhouse. You become open and aware to everything that's going on around you. You activate your inner CEO when you are coherent, when you are in that state. And when, with an activated inner CEO, you're tapping into that intuitive space. And people are like, oh, intuition. Oh, no, 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 my dear. Some of the most famous business people in the world, some of the most famous inventors in the world, they thrived on intuition.
Mhm.
And when you connect these two, you allow intuition to come to you in a very powerful way. Your inner CEO evolves and it allows you to really tap into a space where information starts to come to you that you don't know where it's coming from and it doesn't matter, but you get insights that offer solutions that you hadn't thought of before.
Mhm.
And this holistic approach gives you so much power, gives you so much incredible knowledge and wisdom that as a leader, you truly become a powerhouse.
Mhm.
Because when you do that, you are an influencer and you are influencing your team to do as you are doing. And imagine a boardroom where everyone quick shifts, connects with their inner guidance system, with their inner CEO, and when they're talking about different things, the solutions and the answers come easily, effectively, and with an inner guidance that it's like, wow, I hadn't thought of that before. Let's get into this place of discovery. Let's go into this place of discovery. And that's why I wrote my book, The Enchanted Boardroom, in 2015, because I teach people how to do this, leaders how to do this, business leaders so that they can be an enchanted boardroom themselves. They can really pull in every single skill set that they were born with.
Amazing. Now, how do you define intuition? You've mentioned intuition. We all know that what that is that small voice inside of us.
Yeah.
It could be the thing that we just know that this is our calling. It could be anything, but how do you define intuition in the context of business leadership?
Well, as a business leader, have you ever not listened to your gut and lived to regret it?
Oh, of course.
That's intuition.
Yeah, it's
Have you ever done that, Cassandra?
another form of intelligence, right? It's
It
data,
is.
just in a different language. When we listen to that data, the truth always comes through, right? That data
That's
always tells the
exactly
truth.
right.
Yeah, so we
And
gotta,
it's intuition comes in different ways.
yeah.
Some people see images. Some people hear words. People they trust their bodies and they feel. It's how they feel. And the other ones they just know.
Mhm.
And so this is called clairvoyance. This is called clairaudience. The knowing is clairsentience, and the how you feel. Or, I'm sorry, how it feels in the body is clairsentient, and the knowing is claircognizance. So when you work with the four clairs, and there's a fifth clair that is taste, but
Oh,
I in business I work with the four.
yeah.
When you trust the images that come, when you trust the voices that you hear, when you trust how your bodies feel, especially if, God, my gut, I just have this feeling and it's in your solar plexus and you just know that something isn't right. And, or that inner wisdom that is like, we need to look at this differently, guys. Something isn't right. How many times have you walked away from a meeting and saying something isn't right. And you call the team back and you're like, something isn't right. And then bam, somebody says, oh, look at this. And if the proposal or the contract had gone out, it would have cost millions.
Sure. Yeah. I can totally see
Mhm.
this as you're speaking. I equate it to my past life as an opera singer, really, as you're talking. I'm like, when the technique and the artistry is completely in alignment with one another, with your
Mhm.
breath, with your body, with your mind, when you are tapped in 100%, and you know that that breath is just working perfectly, the vibrato is coming naturally, the
Yeah.
overtones and the undertones are hitting just right. You can actually feel that when it's perfect,
Yeah.
when it's right, and you feel it in the room and the audience feels it in the room, and when that is just the perfect sweet spot, that's when you can tap deeply into your emotion to become that character, to say what it is that
Mhm.
you need to say so that people can be impacted deeply emotionally by that music, and that
Yeah.
really changes their lives. So I see it working in all aspects of life, not just in business, but also, when you're
All
in the
aspects.
boardroom, on the stage,
Mhm.
and also when you're with your loved ones, or when you know that that is the right guy, that you're going to say yes to,
Yeah.
right? All of these things, intuition, so powerful, right? So
May I share a personal story with you?
sure, of course, please do.
Okay, 'cause this is about clairaudience. Okay. This was before I I was somewhat listening to my intuition, but not listening to my intuition. It was right after I got married. My daughter, I was told by four doctors, I'm sorry, four doctors that I could never have children. And bada bing, bada boom, my oldest daughter was born 9 months and 2 days after my wedding date. I trusted my gut. I knew that this was going to happen from the age of 8. I was going to have two and adopt one. End of story. It was just going to happen. Do it, make it happen. And so the first one was done. And we were living in Alexandria, Virginia at the time. And we were moving in a couple weeks. I had gone out to dinner with a friend of mine to say goodbye. My husband was in one of his schools, and my daughter was 10 months old. We had a little sports car. So she's 38 now. So this was, just less than 38 years ago. And we had remember those bucket seats that we put the kids in? They were these beige buckets. They weren't the car seats that we have now. And because I had this little Datsun sports car, I couldn't fit it in the back seat, so I had it in the front seat. So I put her in the front seat. She had a little white bonnet on. She looked so cute. Strapped her in really, really tight. I walk around the car. I get into the passenger seat, and I'm driving at passenger seat. Yeah, right. The
Driver's
driver's seat. And I pulled out, and I get into one of the big roads there, and I hear the words, "Put your seatbelt on," and I ignored it. Get into the road. And I'm driving along, I hear, "Put your seatbelt on." This time it was a little bit louder, and it was in my left ear.
Oh,
And then I was at a stoplight and I heard it. I mean, it was a scream, "Put your seatbelt on now." I'm like, what the heck is going on here? That's not what I said. And I put my seatbelt on really tightly. And I'm like, okay, there's got to be a reason for all this. I don't know what is going on here. And the light turned green. And it was a 6 lane. I was vertical to a horizontal 6 lane road. The light turned green. I started to go across. Next thing I know, my head's hitting the steering wheel and my car was stopped. And I look up, the light was still green. I got hit by a drunk driver.
wow.
And my car did not have airbags.
Right, of course not.
So if I did not have that seatbelt on, I may have gone through the windshield
Sure.
with the way we were hit. The car was totaled. My daughter had contusions all the way up and down, and the doctor said if she hadn't been in her car seat, she would have been dead.
Of course.
And I was hit by the car was about 17 days old, and the young man who hit me was 19 years
Oh
old,
my God.
drunk as a skunk. So just think, if I had not listened to those disembodied words,
Hmm.
what would have happened? And this is the kind of thing that can happen to anyone. Okay, it can happen to anybody. We do have there are There is an energy. Everything is energy. Every single thing on this planet is energy. This
Yeah.
cup is energy. The pen is energy. The phone is energy.
True.
Every single thing is energy. And when we trust that since everything is energy, of course our intuition is energy. Our thoughts are energy. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day.
Mhm.
And if we want to change, yeah, we can sit here and say, yeah, I want to change, I want to change, I want to change. However, if you don't change who you are, you may say, I want to change.
Mhm.
But if you don't change who you are and change how you think, it's not going to happen.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your Shiftology Success System and how it
Mhm.
helps leaders move from stress to clarity.
Well, everything I just talked about is a part of it. We change the way you think. Shiftology is the art of being able to work with intention, intuition, to create impact. That's what Shiftology is all about, and it's a registered trademark. And shift is about spirit, honor, intuition or integrity, depending on what I'm talking about, freedom, and transformation.
Mhm.
So when you are in a space where you need to change, and every single moment of every day is an opportunity to change. Every single moment of every day is an opportunity to see things differently. Every single moment of every single day is an opportunity for you to stop doing what isn't working to do what is working. It's a choice.
Mhm.
We have the power of choice in our fingertips, in our soul. We are born with that. So how we choose to act, how we choose what we see affects what we our behaviors and how it is that we share our skill sets in the world.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So your
also,
thoughts, great beliefs. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was just going to say for business entrepreneurs too, since this is for them, um,
Yeah.
one of the major things that I see oftentimes is many people they believe these stories that they tell themselves about things like I
Yes.
I'm not worthy of this. I can't charge that amount. Who's going to pay for that? I can't afford that coach when they know they need a business coach or someone to help them to move forward. These are all limited beliefs that are not true.
They are.
They are
They
lies
are.
that your ego is telling you to keep you safe because you have fear. And fear is false evidence appearing real.
They're real.
So
Yes, it is.
right? And so if
Yeah.
that is the case, then you're totally right. It is a decision. We get to choose the results that we have in life.
Yes, we
In
do.
every single thing that we have, if we could just trust the universe, trust God, trust whatever you want to believe in, trust that you are absolutely qualified and quantified to be able to create the results that you want in your life. If
Right.
that's what you want to do, you can make that decision. You can take that choice. You can take that action. And if you are consistent and you are taking action with urgency and commitment every single moment towards that goal, you are going to see results.
You are. But here's one thing I'm going to share with you. Okay. We carry emotional baggage, and that emotional baggage can create self-sabotage. And that self-sabotage is what is lack of worth, abandonment, you name it. Okay, all these emotions. And I am certified in emotion code and body code, NLP, EFT, all these energy psychology tools. And we can tell people that they need to do this or they have to do that. And the thing is, they can't because those emotions live in their bodies. And those emotions, and I don't like to use the word need or have to. I really don't, because that means lack. Need, when you need something, you lack it. So the goal is to help people do things, um, to help people, I'm sorry, clear the emotional baggage out so that they can cross the success finish line with calm, ease, and flow. And the emotion code is one of the tools that I use, and it is so very powerful. And I'm opening up my phone here so I can show you what this thing looks like. The emotion code has, I don't know if you can see this or not. Maybe not, maybe you can. There it is.
Yep.
Oh, go over side thing. There it is. Yep, up, 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 up. Aha! There we go.
There we go.
Okay, there are 60 emotions on here. 60 emotions. And some, the first one is abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, love unreceived, failure, helplessness, lack of control, low self-esteem, on and on and on. And when I work with my clients, I use muscle testing. Muscle testing is your body's intelligence to tell you what works and what doesn't work. And if you want to know more about muscle testing, there's not enough time today to talk about it. Go to YouTube and type up Dr. Bradley Nelson. And he gives a wonderful description of what muscle testing is all about and how it works. So just yesterday, I do a freebie on the first Thursday and the third Thursday of the month, and it's called Activate Your Prosperity Frequency. And I have people come in and we use emotion code the entire time to clear a lot of these trapped emotions. And yesterday there was a person who had an entrepreneur who really couldn't get to square one. And she had been in business for quite a while. And what we found out was that a lot of it had to do with her family. And it was a lack of self-worth. And it was abandonment, on and on and on. She kept saying abandonment, abandonment, but I couldn't clear out the abandonment because there were like five other emotions that had to be cleared first.
Wow.
So we cleared all of those out. Then I got the message or the knowledge that yes, now it's time to clear out abandonment. And when I cleared out the abandonment issues in her, she was like, "Oh my gosh, her whole body was shaking because she felt abandonment from the age of 2."
Yeah.
And when we cleared that out, she was grinning the rest of the workshop. She was grinning for the first time in 2 sessions that I'd ever seen her from ear to ear. She came to one of the first freebies and she was very forlorn, very just and she left yesterday with this ear to ear smile that was just amazing because now that we cleared out those emotions, and they're probably, people ask me, or are they gone for good? Well, anytime an event happens, it's like a diamond. There are lots of facets. Okay. So we cleared out facets of what the different events are.
Right.
And, but her smile was just flaming amazing.
Just
It
these
was
tools.
so,
These tools that you bring into your practice are so interesting. And if anyone wants to learn more, we're going to have lots of information on your dashboard about Terry. So you can find her links and everything so that you can go to her for even more information. And she's going to be offering another training and workshop throughout our Global Cash Summit. So you're going to have lots of opportunities to gain wisdom from her. But this is fascinating. The balance between strategy and self-trust that these people have, it's really what makes leadership sustainable within us, right? So logic
yeah.
builds the plan, but intuition really keeps it alive. So how can someone start building trust in their intuition if they've been conditioned to rely only on logic?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's an excellent question. Actually, a lot of that is the way that they could be made. Okay, if you're a finance person, I'm married to the Navy, a military person. Okay, a an architect, CPA, those kind of things tend to live in a very logical world. That trust piece that you're talking about, it all depends again on how they were raised. That trust piece could be issues from childhood that are in their way of being able to trust themselves. Because every time they did trust themselves before and they made a comment, they got smacked down. They got judged. They were laughed at. Okay, their intuition, so they're scared to go there. I give them a safe space to be able to talk about it and let's get this cleared up so that you can learn to trust yourself more because with each layer that comes off, the trust elevates. And the more your trust elevates, the more you are a solid, concrete person. Your feet are on the ground. However, you're also allowing a lot of information to come to you. It's called awareness. How many of you, how often have you been in a room and there was such a lack of awareness? People not reading the room, people just so in their heads and their me, you know, energy. And a lot of that is a lack of intuition, a lack of awareness, a lack of recognizing that there's so much more that can be discerned and given in a networking event than the me stuff. What can I do for you? How can I help you? And trust. It's not about sales. A lot of people go into networking events thinking it's about a sale. Oh, no, no, no. Networking is about relationships.
Connection.
And when you go a connection, exactly. When you walk into a room, it is about being your grounded self and allow the people to come to you who are meant to come to you, learn from you. You learn from them. You ask the wonderful questions to find out about them, and you get into a space where the energy really rocks and rolls between the two of you. If you go into a networking event with, I want 5 sales, I'm going to know every single person in the room, you might be disappointed.
Yeah. So, what daily practices or rituals do you use or recommend to people to stay connected to their inner guidance while they're leading their business?
Well, in my free gift, the Quick Shift Zone, I teach a technique that I use the moment I wake up, and I have been for the last 25 years. And that is you shift from your head into your heart. And I put my hand on my heart and I get into a state of gratitude and appreciation. It's a 4-step process that is in this e-guide called the Quick Shift Zone, and the link will be delivered to you later. It's my freebie gift to you. And the Quick Shift Zone has some science in it, as well as the 4 steps. On the very last page, I suggest that you print out a couple sheets because it there's like little bookmarks in it, and you cut them up. You put one next to your mirror in the bathroom. You put one next to your computer. You put one on the refrigerator. You put one in the car. You put it all over the place to remind you to take the deep breaths, to shift into your chest and get into alignment with yourself so that wherever it is you're going, whatever it is you're doing, you are coherent. And it takes practice. I'm not going to kid you. It takes practice. There are times, I mean, we're busy with entrepreneurs, you're going a mile a minute. And there are times I'm like, oh, I'm not breathing. And I have to remind myself to do it. But I start every single morning with it and in this space of gratitude. And I am I am grateful for my pillow, my sheets, my bed, my covers, my bathroom, my toilet, my shower, my water, my breakfast. I'm grateful for my computer. I'm grateful for my 2 virtual assistants. I'm grateful for the people in my world. And when you step into that state of gratefulness and appreciation, what you're doing is reducing the cortisol levels, which is cortisol is the stress hormone, and you're increasing your DHEA levels. And you allow more, you begin to attract more and more of what you want and less of what you don't want when you step into that place of appreciation and gratitude.
Yes, yes, manifestation at its finest. Yep. Okay, so prosperity by alignment, not exhaustion, is such a powerful concept. So, why do you think so many leaders equate success with struggle? And how can they begin shifting their perception into alignment?
They don't know this stuff. They don't know any other way. They just know the go to, have to, need to mythology. And I was one of them. When I owned my manufacturing company, it was nothing to work 18 hours a day and do what I wanted, and get things going. Now, granted, I was single at the time, but still, I ended up in the ER because of stress.
Yeah.
So these tools are meant to teach you everything that I learned for myself first. Every single thing. And entrepreneurs, the moment you think you have to do it all, think again. The moment you think that you can't afford a virtual assistant, think again. The moment you think that I can't do this, I can't do this, you're absolutely right because your language is one of those 60,000 thoughts, okay, that gets in the way of your success. So the language that you use, the thoughts that you have, influence your actions and behaviors and create the feelings that create the results that you are experiencing.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. You can literally see people's energy change when they change their thoughts, their perceptions of
Mhm.
things, their beliefs. And when you practice that every single day, because sometimes, you might not think it's true at first because you've been struggling with this,
Mhm.
but when you practice that every single day, sometimes when you say a mantra over and over again of something you intend to happen, even though you might have some doubts, but if you keep speaking it into existence, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's
Oh,
a shift that actually happens biologically.
well, not necessarily. Let me share something with you there, Cassandra. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Sure.
A lot of people use affirmations, and then they say to me, well, they don't work. That's because just saying the affirmation does diddly squat. You think you're telling the universe, but you're not feeling it.
Yes.
It's that feeling, the vibrations within you that actually create the result.
The emotion that has already happened, that emotion, so you really tap into that. And then taking
Yes,
action, of course, taking action, those actions that are in alignment with that, what it is that you want. So you have to take
exactly.
actions to have that success as
Yeah.
well.
The universe isn't just going to hand it to you. There are you know how we have a call to action at the end of our proposals and the end of our social media posts and all that. Well, the universe it has a call to action too. So it's about feeling it, knowing it, getting that feeling and emotion into your bones and taking the call to action. And you will be guided if you trust yourself enough.
Now, if every leader that we have here watching could take one shiftology step right now to activate their inner CEO, what would it be? What's the most powerful advice that you can give us? That one simple aligned action that can change everything.
Breathe. Breathe. Because when we get stressed out, we hold our breath. Our body tenses. We get like this. However, when we breathe and shift into our chest, do the quick shift zone, shift into our chest, it gives us the opportunity to pause for a moment. And I share with my folks, do a quick shift at a minimum at the top of the hour, 60 seconds. Give yourself the gift of 60 seconds of pause and breathe deeply into your chest and allow whatever insights come. Relax your shoulders, relax your back, and just breathe, 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 breathe. The breath is very powerful. I know for myself, I do this for a living. And I know for myself, I still find myself when I get stressed holding my breath. And, my husband will say, breathe. Got it. Thank you. Because it's how I'm wired. And he's wired the same way. We're very good in terms of holding ourselves accountable, but it's about taking that breath and allowing yourself to just pause for 60 seconds every hour on the hour quick shift.
Beautiful. Thank you, Terry, for reminding us that clarity, confidence, and prosperity come when we lead from the inside out. For everybody watching, remember your greatest business strategy begins with listening to your intuition. Activate your inner CEO. Trust your own wisdom and success flow through alignment, not exhaustion. I am
Mhm.
Cassandra Bourne, and this is the Global Cash Summit. Thank you so much, Terry, for visiting
Thank
with us
you.
today, and we will see you some more over the next few days.
You will.
Thank you.